Good morning, guys. Hope you all are doing well on this Thursday morning. Just want to kind of make this trying to get this set up. There we go. This kind of a little bit of an instructional video to kind of help you all with this project. This is your first, probably not your last, but your first kind of NTI project. So I just kind of want to make this video to clarify some things for you. All you're doing, this is supposed to be this is one of my favorite projects. It's actually it's one of the half of projects that I came up with, and the reason being is the whole point of this project is to get you to dive into one of the musical decades, right? So the 50s, 60s, 70s, 20s, 30s, 40s. Make sure somebody's doing one of those older decades, right? And the whole point of this is to look at how does the music from that time reflect what was happening in that time. And so you're going to make a very small sample of songs, 3 songs from whatever decade you choose. And they need to be of different genres, and you need to try to make them from different about different topics. Okay, for example, okay, so you pick 80s or something of the 3 songs. Okay, so have one that's obviously like 80s rock, have one that is mainstream pop music, and then have one that is like completely different that you wouldn't have ever heard on the radio, right? So you got to have to dig a little bit for one of your songs, and that's the point, to get you to kind of look at, describe a small snippet of 80s music and tell me how it reflects the decade. Okay, so or whatever decade it is that you choose. Okay, so you got 3 songs, at least one must represent a style other than pop culture music. So again, something you wouldn't have heard on the radio. And then your Google Slides that you're making, the way I would set it up is I would set a slide up for each song, right? And so for each song, you need the style of the song. You need to give me the year it was published. But you also need another slide that talks about what's going on in the decade as a whole. So that's what that historical context is. You need to make a slide separately that says in the 1980s, you see the fall of the Soviet Union. You see these different, so talk to me about what's happening in the 1980s. Just a one slide that's kind of a brief paragraph. Tell me what's happening in the 80s. Make sure you have the artists for each song. And then you also need to do a little digging and to see the influences on the artists, right? So if you're doing Queen, what influenced Queen's writing? What influenced Queen's music? Okay. And then also the other side of that coin right here, if you're doing Queen, okay, the people or things that the artist then influenced. Okay, so how was Queen's music then influential to other people? Okay, so D is talking about what influenced, if we're using Queen as the example, what influenced the band Queen, and then E is talking about how was Queen's music then influential to everybody else. So it's twofold there. Okay, and then finally, make sure you have like a sources page where you're putting stuff in there. Okay, make this neat. Make it organized, because you're not going to be able to explain your project to your classmates. Obviously, we're going to post these up and look at them and gather information off of them. So make sure they are organized and neat and have all of the criteria in there. And then on Monday, when we come in next week, you will take a day and you will gather. I'll give you some sort of outline, and you'll gather some information from other classmates' projects that you choose. And that's it. Okay. Haven't talked to you all in a while. Hope you all are doing really well. We're wrapping up. I guess this is week 4 of NTI weeks, which is pretty wild. After this week is over, there are 4 weeks left of school, whether we're in school or out of school. We got 4 more weeks after this week. So keep pushing on, keep fighting the good fight. You all have done such a good job with getting a lot of your stuff in. Only had a few kind of people who are struggling to get things turned in. We're working on getting that done, but you all are very much impressing me on how well you all have been able to handle everything. So hope you all are doing well. If you have any questions, make sure you shoot me an email. Leave me a private comment on the assignment, or my Google Voice number is posted in there if you need to talk on the phone. Okay. So hope you all are doing well. That's it. You all have a great day. Bye.